Howdy my totally always Tubular gamers, and we're back with, you guessed it, another ranking video. And today for Unhinged Feral Fridays, we are going to be talking about Barbie Horse Adventures. So the Barbie movie has come out today actually, and you know, it looks pretty good. I haven't seen it myself yet, but it looks quite good. And after seeing the trailer, it got me thinking. I was like, you know, there's been a lot of Barbie games. I remember playing one way back in the day. It was like Her with a Horse or something. I'm gonna look up how many Barbie games there are. Well, after looking it up, there's a lot of Barbie games, but there's actually a decent amount of Barbie games in the Barbie Horse Adventures. There's actually 4. Now, this is what I played way back in the day. You know, I had some siblings who were really into Barbie, and they got it, and through them, I was able to try it. And yeah, I've got some memories with Barbie Horse Adventure. And so yeah, for today's video, I thought we would talk about the Barbie Horse Adventure games. We're going to rank the 4 of them. We're going to give them all a little review, see how they stack up against each other. Are these games even any good, or are they just all terrible licensed products that shouldn't even exist? Now, Barbie doesn't need an introduction, so I'm not going to give one. You know Barbie, I know Barbie, we all know Barbie, everybody knows Barbie. So this series is aimed at children, and it involves various aspects of horseback riding, like maintaining your horse, finding your horse, and then there's a little bit of story here and there. There's some role-playing elements. These aren't just really basic children's games. I mean, they kind of are, but there's a little bit more to them, and I know a lot of people have grown up with these kinds of games. I've met plenty of people throughout the years who go, yeah, man, I really liked those Barbie horse games. And so yeah, we're looking at the Barbie horse games. This isn't weird at all. Let's just get right into it. Like, share, comment, sub. We're doing plenty of ranking videos. We're doing Feral Fridays now. So out of these 4 games, what do I think is the weakest of them all? And so here we have Barbie Horse Adventures Blue Ribbon Race, releasing for the Game Boy Advance in 2003. Now, funny enough, I actually recently picked this game up. I went to Pink Gorilla when I visited Seattle, and it was there for 99 cents. And so I thought, why the hell not? I guess I'll get Barbie Horse Adventure. And I gotta say, after giving it even just a few minutes, this game is just awful. So the game sees Barbie and her horse going through various tracks of the Primrose Hill Charity Cup. Why is Barbie racing? Why does she need to win? What even is the Primrose Hill Charity Cup? Which charity is this even going to? None of those questions are answered here in this game, and I don't got an answer for you. I mean, I couldn't even kind of guess what charity this would be going to. Hopefully something good. So let's talk about what catches your eye first, the graphics. This game uses 2D sprites, which is an interesting choice. They are on a 3D plane, so it just does look kind of weird, but you know, I've certainly seen worse from the Game Boy Advance. It could look worse, but sometimes it is a bit hard to make out what exactly you're looking at. So what are you even doing in this game? So you've got to complete all of the tracks, and how do you do this? You collect items along the way. Usually you just kind of go from point A to B, and along the way there are some items to pick up, whether it's flowers, whether it's horseshoes. Yeah, there's a couple different things you pick up, but really they all have the same functionality. You just need to get all of them on the track and then finish the track. There's really not much more to this game besides that. The tracks, I mean, they're designed, yes, clearly a human being designed this, and that's really all I gotta say about it. I mean, there's nothing too advanced or special or interesting about any of these. You do some turns, you go forward, you do some more turns, you do a jump, you go across a bridge. I mean, there's really not much to say here. What I can comment on is the controls. The controls are pretty bad in this game. It's just ridiculously sluggish and unresponsive and just slow. Like, I get it, you know, you're on a horse. I'm not expecting you to turn like a freaking motorcycle or something, but come on. Like, I think a horse in real life could probably turn better than this. You know, assuming these are professionally trained horses, of course, like how this game has it. You can actually customize the horse a little bit. You can choose a bunch of different horses, and Barbie, you can change her outfits up because it's a Barbie game. Of course, you're going to be able to do that. The main game is maybe like 45 minutes, an hour at most. Yeah, there's not a lot to this game lengthwise, and it plays the same musical track the entire time, and it really wants to put me to sleep. Like, this is the dullest shit. There's also some mini games here. Have never tried these, and I think there's like multiplayer with it, but yeah, I'm definitely not going to get anyone to play this one with me. You know, even if you love Barbie and you love the horse adventures, you might want to rethink checking this one out because there just really isn't much here, and what is on offer, it's not really worth playing, sorry. And so here we have Barbie Horse Adventures Wild Horse Rescue, developed by Blitz Games and released for the PS2 and Xbox in 2003. Now, this is the Barbie game I remember seeing growing up and trying and thinking interesting things about it. Like, I remember I was a pretty young kid when I tried this game, and I didn't really think much about it. I was just like, oh, it's like a cute little horse rescuing game. But going back and looking at it now, wow. There's a reason a lot of companies said that this was one of the worst games ever made. You know, I'd rather play this than Blue Ribbon Race, but this game is, it's nothing special, I'll just say that. Now, this game, as the title implies, it has a really serious narrative here that needs to be discussed. It's about a storm coming in and causing a gate at a ranch to open, letting the horses and fowls run away. And so it's up to Barbie to track down all these animals and rescue them. You'll go through 3 parts of 3 different settings. You'll go through these forests, you'll go through these mountains, and then of course the beach, because we all know that the horses love the beach. Now, this game is very narrative focused, and it has a really deep story with a lot of meaning to it, and Barbie herself grows a lot as a character. There's a lot of depth here, and her rescuing the horses really changes the outcome of the entire Barbie universe. The story of this game really changed me as a human being, and I'll never be the same way after experiencing this game's story. And so what is the gameplay like? Well, you're trying to save the horses, like I said. The game is played from a third-person perspective, and you're trying to find the horses. There's usually 3 or 4 animals to be found in each section. And once you find them, you gotta take them back. You can ride them if they're big enough, or you're just gonna have to walk them yourself. You can also whistle to have them try to come to you, and yeah, you're really just trying to get the horses back. And of course, the most important gameplay aspect, you can pet the horses, you can pet the fowls, you know, that's pretty cool. I can't think of many games that would let you do that even nowadays. Along the way, there are a bunch of coins you can collect. There are lots of coins in each area, and you really want to collect as many of these as you can. And along the way, there's more than just, you know, finding the animals and taking them with you. You actually do have to do some mini games here. Sometimes it's not as simple as just finding them in the corner of the map and dragging them with you. You got to actually, you know, catch them with your lasso. Sometimes you got to race for them. Sometimes you got to drop food and get them over there. Like, there's a couple different things thrown in here to try to add some variety, try to mix things up. And this gameplay loop, I mean, it's an interesting premise. Is it a good premise though? Well, I'll let you be the judge of that one. At least the gameplay does have some meat and bones here, and maybe a mashed potato or two, as opposed to the Game Boy game, which I don't even know if there was any bones. This game is one of the longest Barbie games, taking well over 4 to 5 hours to beat, especially if you want to get all the coins. And I'm not going to act like this is the most enthralling, enriching, life-changing experience of a game, but, you know, if you're looking for something to kill a weekend or maybe a slow afternoon and you got an emulator loaded up, or, you know, for whatever reason you have this on the original Xbox, I mean, you could do a hell of a lot worse. You could watch paint dry, you could do your taxes, you could go to the DMV, you could play Barbie Horse Adventure's Blue Ribbon Race, you could play Redfall. I mean, all of these are worse options than playing this game. At least from a presentation standpoint, I mean, this is a pretty budget PS2 game, and I actually think it looks alright. There's a lot of environments here, and, you know, it doesn't look bad for the time. I think it looks decent. Sure, the animation's pretty clunky and choppy and just kind of janky and stiff, but, you know, it's more than serviceable. Presentation might be the best part of this game other than the touching narrative. But yeah, I remember growing up, a bunch of outlets like X-Play said that this was one of the worst games ever made and that it belongs with big rigs over-the-road racing, which, yeah, no, this game's not anywhere near as bad as that. At least the music are some bangers. It's super relaxing. The game is generally relaxing, but the music, very relaxing, very peaceful, tranquil, and, you know, it's good in that aspect. But just remember, you could always play way worse. You could play Redfall or Gollum. You know what, actually, let's not talk about Gollum. And so here we have Barbie Horse Adventure's Riding Camp releasing for the PS2, the Wii, and PC in 2008. There was a DS version, which is different from this version, but I have zero familiarity with it, and I'm just not going to include it on here. So sadly, this was the last of the Horse Adventure series. But did they go out with a bang? Well, they went out with something, that's for sure. The game takes place on this island, which has been a victim of a storm. I know Barbie games and horses and storms, for some reason they just go together. But anyway, the island was attacked by a storm, and Barbie is like a horse tamer, rider, trainer, etc. She just freaking done everything at this point. But yeah, she's trying to, you know, restore the island to its glory, I guess, and as she says, the show must go on, the horse riding must go on. And so this game is a lot bigger than the other Barbie games. It's actually set in kind of like an open world environment and is much more like an adventure role-playing game rather than just, you know, going around some areas and finding horses and occasionally riding them. The open world is actually decently big. It's kind of impressive for a kid's game, like just how big and really just how open the game is. Like, you can pretty much do almost anything right from the get-go like any other sandbox game, and there's a bunch of different activities and things you can do in this game. And again, almost right from the beginning, outside of a small little tutorial of learning the ropes, you can explore this open world as much as you want. You can do almost any of the activities right away, and I mean, that's kind of cool for like a game like this. I mean, come on, how many other big open worlds let you do everything right from the get-go that aren't named Zelda? I mean, does Cyberpunk 2077 let you take on every single side quest right from the beginning of the game? I didn't think so. So this game's very open, but what can you actually do? Well, a big part of it is about the horses. I mean, I would expect most of the game would be about the horses with the name, but yeah, a lot of it's centered around the horses. So you gotta actually, take care of these horses. They aren't just some stupid, dumb animal. No, you gotta actually take care of them like a horse. You gotta tame them, you gotta feed them, you gotta groom them, you gotta train them, you gotta be their friend, you really gotta understand them, you really gotta feel them. You just gotta be one with the horse to truly get this game. And if you do all that and you don't fuck it up, then you actually get to ride the horses. You get to actually ride them, you get to race them, and you get to go from location to location. The controls are decent in this game. It's probably some of the best horse controls you'll find in any Barbie game. It's actually quite decent. The horses turn at a decent rate. It's not super sluggish and annoying. Yeah, I'd say the controls are tight enough. But you'll be doing more than just horse races and riding the horses around. You'll actually get quests given to you by, like NPCs, people who live on the island, such as finding lost items, fixing objects, taking something and giving it to someone else, finding something and taking it back to them. Hey, I didn't say this game was innovative or did anything crazy, but you know what? It's got objectives. There's some variety here, not a lot, but there's a little bit of variety, and it's just kind of cool. There's a big open world for Barbie to explore around on her horse. And sure, these tasks you get are not the most exciting. It's not exactly engrossing, and sometimes this game is a little mind-numbing, especially with the music, but it's clear that, I'm not the target demographic here. With that in mind, I would say if you are the target demographic, i.e. probably 5 or under, I think you'll enjoy the gameplay loop of this game. You'll probably find it quite engrossing and engaging. Being a Barbie game, there better be some freaking customization here. We better have some good customization, and luckily we get it. There's a diverse set of clothing enabling Barbie to play dress up, and you can kind of dress the horse up too. I mean, you really got to be one with the horse to really understand this game, and at least from a presentation standpoint, this game, well, it certainly could be better. The game came out in 2008, and I know it's a budget licensed game that was probably rushed out the door, but 2008 and it looks like this, damn. This game doesn't really look much better than Wild Horse Rescue outside of the bloom, and Wild Horse Rescue came out 5 years before this game, so yikes. So, the big question, should you play Riding Camp? It's one of the more accessible games on this list for sure, but just because it's accessible doesn't mean it's good. The accessibility does not equal quality here, and I think you could do a little bit better with Barbie games. I'd rather play this than a couple of the other Barbie horse games, but I mean, it's kind of up to you. I mean, are you a Barbie girl in the Barbie world who's going to enjoy this game? And so here we have Barbie Horse Adventure's Mystery Ride, releasing for the PC in 2003. Now, Mystery Ride I also remember as a kid, but I never really touched this one too much, but I can confidently say now that this is not only the best Barbie Horse Adventure game, but it's probably the best Barbie game ever made. If it's not the best, it's one of the very best, and I think anybody that likes Barbie and has a computer and can figure out how to get this game to work on a modern computer should probably check this game out. So when it comes to the plot, I know it might be shocking, but this game, it is about a mystery. It's about the mystery of the missing horse. Barbie's friend Teresa's horse is missing, and it's up to Barbie to go find her. And so to find this missing horse, Barbie is going to have to really go on a hero's journey. She's going to have to explore the countryside. She's going to have to question herself. She's going to have to explore a bunch of different terrain like the forest and the desert. And she's going to have a lot of challenges along her way, like these logic puzzles or exploring these treacherous environments with a lot of danger lurking around every corner. But at least what you have here is decent controls. In fact, these are probably the best controls that the Barbie horse games have ever seen. It's actually surprisingly somewhat realistic, at least from my understanding. Then again, most of my understanding of horse riding comes from Red Dead Redemption 2. Thank you, Rockstar Games. This game gives Red Dead Redemption 2 a real run for its money, though, when it comes to its horse physics, its controls, how realistic it is to take care of that horse, man. Red Dead Redemption 2 wishes it was as good as Barbie. Mystery Ride just kind of slaps with that, you know. There is some customization here. There is some clothes you can put Barbie in. You can play dress up. You can even customize the horse. Of course, you got to take care of that horse, you know. It's not just some stupid creature that you ride from point A to B. This is a living, breathing animal. You got to feed it. You got to groom it. You got to train. And I would expect nothing less from a serious horse riding game. So I'm glad that this game has it. I think the customization is fine. Taking care of the horses is nice. The game's pretty relaxing. It doesn't exactly, you know, challenge the player all that much, but it's a very relaxing time. The music, just like the rest of these Barbie games, very peaceful. This music, I mean, it kind of slaps. I'm tempted to put it in some of my upcoming videos. You know, if you made it to this part of the video, comment Ducky down below, and I'll put it in my next video just for you, because I love you all. But while we are on the subject of sound, I can bring up the voice acting. You know, I haven't really talked about the voice acting for any of these games. It's nothing really too special. Barbie's alright, but Barbie, she's pretty good here. She gives it her all. I think the voice acting was decent. It was complimentary to the nice music. I think the graphics and really the presentation as a whole is actually pretty decent. Budget, licensed kids game for computers. I mean, I think it looks alright for 03. It doesn't really look much worse than Wild Horse Rescue, which looked decent for the time. Yeah, I'd say the presentation was alright. The gameplay loop, you know, it's not the most exciting, and if you're over the age of 8, you might not think it's all that, but I think it's still okay. You know, it's a fun little children's game. The logic puzzles, as I mentioned, it's nothing too taxing. You're not going to be playing Portal here and expecting crazy puzzles. Like, no, they're pretty simple to understand. But at least exploring around, you know, it's got some merit. The game actually, like I've mentioned, does control alright, so it's nice in that sense. I'd say the game has a decent pace to it, and it's got an alright length. I mean, I wasn't expecting, like, you know, hours and hours of gameplay, but it also doesn't drag on. It's maybe like an hour or two, maybe like 2.5 if you really take your time. Not a ton to it, but that's okay with me. I didn't need it to go on forever like Wild Horse Rescue does, and I think this game, yeah, it's actually an enjoyable time. I can tell you genuinely this is an enjoyable enough time. I mean, if you like Barbie, maybe check this game out. You know, you want to boot up the PC, you got an old PC to get this running on, or I think there's probably a version that works on modern computers nowadays. You could do so much worse, though. There are so many modern games that release that are so bad, especially release, and I'd rather play this than a lot of those games, like 100 with you. Anyway, I'm just rambling now, so if you made it to this part of the video, please like, share, subscribe. We got the Patreon going on as well. Share with someone you know. Go see Barbie. It's probably a good movie. These games, you know, they are what they are. I'm not the biggest Barbie fan, but I thought it'd be fun to talk about them. And so that's it. See y'all later. Have a good day.